Hey there, it's Jennifer McGuire. Today I'm going to take on a different kind of challenge for me. I'm going to be doing the 10-minute craft dash. So I'm going to try to create a card in 10 minutes, but also kind of show you something while I'm creating it, and it's how to create a balloon card. So here's the card. It's in the shape of a balloon, and it fits perfectly into a regular envelope, and it opens up so you can write your message inside. So I created this in a little under 10 minutes. Now, I'll have to be honest, I had to start and stop a billion times because I had the kids around when I was trying to do this. My husband was making dinner. So I stopped and started it, but in the end, it was just under 10 minutes. So I'm going to start by taking a piece of white cardstock and folding it in half. I'm going to make my card base. This is the biggest of the circle dies in the Sizzix circle die set. I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. I can save time by cutting both of the circles at once because I need two white circles. So these dies work with any die cut machine. I usually use the Vagabond, but it's easier to film the Big Shot. And I also have this left over from another project that's unused. I actually cut off the bottom there by accident, but I'm going to use the piece anyways. So it is some American Crafts POW paper. I love that glitter paper. Now I need to cut my words, so I've put my memory box metal shim underneath the cutting plate. This will ensure that we cut those really intricate words perfectly. So I've taken 3 pieces of cardstock and I have 3 different happy greetings. One is from Simon Says Stamp, that's the one that's on the green. One is from Memory Box, that's the one on the blue, and the one on the teal is from My Favorite Things. So to save time, I'm going to run these all through my die cut machine at the same time. These are little tricks that I do often. I do a lot of die cutting at once. So now I've had all these pieces cut. Die cutting is a great way to save time when you're crafting because it gives you really great results very quickly. So there I've got a bunch of words, and I'm just going to go ahead and untangle these, and then I'll be able to add these to my card. Now I found the fastest way to adhere intricate little dies like this is using my little Xyron machine. So I have my Xyron machine here. This is a great tool. I'm going to take the words and just plop them in the one end and pull the other end, and you'll see you turn these into a sticker. Now I didn't do a really good job conserving the amount of product I was using as I pulled this through, but you can put them closer together so that you don't use as much. So after you've run it through, you just tear it and then press it very firmly to make sure that you put all the sticky part on the back of the die cut. Now before I add those, I need to create my card, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to create a circle card, and then we'll turn it into a balloon. Now I first want to put this glitter paper onto the white circle. The glitter paper isn't strong enough to be a card on its own, so by backing it with the white cardstock it's nice and sturdy now. Then I need to put a score line on the other white circle. This will be the back of the card and create the hinge that allows it to open like a card. So I'm just putting a quick score line on there, and I'm going to fold this back and forth a few times so that the hinge is nice and loose so that it opens easily when the person gets the card. I'm going to put some adhesive right above that score line and adhere this to the back of the other circle. This way you never know, you don't have like that silly looking fold at the top of the card. It opens nicely like a card. You can see where I die cut that silver circle, a little too short there on the bottom, but I'll hide that later on. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the die cuts now that I have them. For this sticker maker, you just pull this off and you're left with just a die cut with sticky on the back. So you have like die cut stickers. It works perfect. So I'm going to peel this off and stick it right onto my card. Now this is the most intricate of the die cuts, so I'm going to have to kind of maneuver this to get it right in the position that it's intended to be. If you want to make sure you have it positioned just right, not spread out too far or whatever, you can take the die and line it up over it. I'll fiddle it with it in a minute here to make sure that the spacing is just right. So now I've got the other ones and I'll just pop these in place. Now this adhesive sticks pretty good and holds nice, but if you wanted to be sure it didn't shift, you could squirt a little glossy accent under it. Here I'm using an adhesive removing tool to rub away any of the adhesive that was kind of sticking out from that die cut. Really quick and easy to do. Now it's really easy to turn this circle into a balloon. I just need to cut the little piece on the bottom that gives it the balloon look. So I'm going to take a scrap of that glitter paper. Again, that's American Crafts POW glitter paper. I like it because the glitter does not rub off and it's very fine, so it's not too crazy looking. So I'm just going to cut this little kind of triangle shape. I backed it also so it'd be sturdy. I actually cut another piece of white cardstock for the back of it too. Now I decided I want it to look a little more free-formed here, so I'm just going to kind of cut this into a shape. I think I ended up trimming this to be skinnier later on after I put the card together. but you can do this by hand. Now I'm going to take this shape and glue it to the front of the card so it sticks out between those two layers. So I'm peeling up that glitter paper and gluing it in between that layer and that white cardstock backing that I gave it. Now this other white piece I'm going to glue to the back of the card. And if you don't want that to show on the back of the card, you can put yet another circle on the back of the card, but I think it's fine just to have this adhered to the back of the card so it lines up. So there we go, we have the front and the back of the card exactly the same. So it opens up nicely and still looks like a balloon, and it will also stand on that little part that we added. So works perfect as a card. Now another thing that I do when I want to add quick embellishments to a card and I don't have a lot of time is I use little punch or die cut shapes. Here I've got a darker color of the Pow glitter paper, and I'm using an EK Success punch to create little quick stars. This is a great quick embellishment. You could also use gems if you wanted to, but this keeps the card nice and flat. Very easy to do. So I'm going to first go ahead and arrange my little stars where I think they would look best on the card. And once I've done that, I'm going to put a little dot of glossy accent behind each to hold them in place. Now I decided I wanted to have a fun string hanging from this, but I wanted it to be curly instead of just hang loose and straight. So I'm going to show you a little trick. It's easy to do. First I'm going to take some string. This is just inexpensive string that you can get at any craft store. It lasts forever. I'm just going to tie it into a bow around the front of the card. So this isn't tying my card closed. It's just around the front part of the card, and I'll tie it into a quick bow. Now you could use baker's twine for this. I tried that, but it was a little too distracting from all that was going up on the top of the card. Now to make this kind of stiff in that fun little curly pattern, I use matte medium from its Studio from Ranger, Claudine Helmuth, and I squirt some onto my fingers and I just rub it along the string and just kind of making it a little bit wet with this. You could try this with glossy accents too, but I like how this matte medium works, and it's a great strong adhesive too. You can get it in a little bottle, very inexpensive. Now once I have it covered, I'm going to force it into the shape that I want because it's a little bit wet, and then you want to make sure you press where the strings overlap, those little spots there. Press that down to make sure they stay together, and just lay this in exactly how you want it to be. Now I did it on a piece of typing paper. It made it easier to kind of force it to stick where you want it to be, and then I'll just tear the typing paper off of it, but you could do it right on a craft sheet and not have to worry about the stick then. I'm going to put a little dot here also on the bow, the knot of the bow, to make sure that it doesn't come undone. Now when this dries, it kind of stiffens up the string, and it'll keep those little connections there so you have those fun little loops even when this has gone through the mail. And it dries nice and strong and you don't have to worry about it at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and set this aside to dry, and then I'll be able to peel it off of my paper. If some of the paper tears off, I just rub that off. It'll be absolutely no problem. So even though I had to do a lot of starting and stopping, I ended at just under 10 minutes and I'm ready to go. Now this just needs some time to dry, but I'm going to cheat and say that's not included in the 10 minutes. So I've given it time to dry and peeled it from the paper, and you can see how that string stays nice and loopy and kind of fun, and this will fit perfectly into an envelope. So I'm just going to tuck this in because this circle is about 4 1/4 inches wide, and it fits nicely, and you can see that the person can take the card right out and that string stays nice and fun. So there's some tips for creating a balloon-shaped card, and also how you can use die cutting for quick and easy card making. You can make a card in under 10 minutes. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, please visit my blog at jennifermcguireinc.com.